St. Paul, in his letter to the Galatians, says to us that we have put on Christ through our baptism. But maybe the question you and I need to ask ourselves, have we? Have we put on Christ? Is our life different from what it was last week, last year, whenever? Have we truly put on Christ, as Paul says? Well, we have if we've eliminated some things in our life, like prejudice, bigotry, hatred, and the list can go on and on. But have we eliminated those things? Have we gotten rid of them? Because what those things do, they block our lives. It's like building walls. And we don't build walls. We build bridges, yes. But the thing is, my brothers and sisters, have we truly put Christ on? Jesus asked his disciples a question. Who do you say I am? Good question. How would each of us answer that question? Every one of us probably give a different answer. But have you ever thought of it? Have you ever even thought about answering that question for yourselves? See, when we free ourselves from so much other garbage that's around us, then we can center in on Christ. Christ becomes our center. So then we act out of that. And we treat our brothers and our sisters who come into our life, whether they be gay, lesbian, straight, bi, white, dark, Jew, Muslim, doesn't make any difference. They're all our brothers and sisters because God has created them. But how do we treat them? How do we welcome them? And by doing so, when we do welcome them, and when we treat them in a very Christian way, as Jesus treats us, then we don't have the problems with violence, bigotry, hatred around us all the time. We can create a better country. We can create a better community by putting on the Christ we say we have put on. And that's the question. That's a challenge for you as well for myself. And every day it's a challenge. Because we all come across difficulty. We come across hardship. And sometimes we've got to pull back and stop. So, hold on. What am I about? What am I truly about? What's running my life? Am I standing up for my brothers and sisters when they're in trouble? Do I run to their rescue on a playground when they're being treated by other kids in a bad way? Am I willing to stand up for them and help them? What about my neighborhood? What about at my work? What's my reaction? What are my feelings going on? Yes, we have to keep reminding ourselves. I know that. I have to do it day after day. And I'm sure many of you do it. Hold on. What am I about? I'm not here to treat someone in a negative way. I'm here to help build them up, be positive with them. No matter what their trial or difficulties or other things that we carry around with us, we overlook that. We rise above them. And what happens is that we have to put on the attitude of Jesus Christ. And that's forgiving, loving, merciful person. Having passion for our brothers and sisters. That's what Christ has for you and for me. But if we don't put Christ on and live him out in our life, we miss that. We're the losers. And we can be the winners. And this is who we're all about. You all come here week after week. And hopefully you're being nourished by the word that's proclaimed. And then later, we come up to this table. And we receive. What do we receive? We receive the body and the blood of Christ. Christ is in us. We're the tabernacles. You know how many people I see after giving the communion go and genuflect? Excuse me, you're the tabernacle. You have Christ within you. What does that do, though? We go back to our seats. Are we any different? Week after week. Christ feeds us. Right here. How different are we? When we go home today, are we going to be any different than when we were when we came? Even if it's this much different. That's important. That means Christ is working in you. You're letting Christ work in you. The challenge is there. It's for all of us. That's part of being a Christian. Trying to live out the way Christ is calling us to live. Every single day. Sure, we don't always make it. We fail. But Jesus is there. He's ready to pick us up. We can end this violence, this negativity in this world. But we have to start with ourselves first and go out and forth to the people in our world. You know, after communion, what goes through our mind? Maybe you don't get that time. Maybe as soon as you receive communion, you walk out the door and go to your car and drive home. You know what that's like? It's like if you invited 4 or 5 people to your home for dinner. You're all sitting down for dinner, and in the middle of dinner, one of you get up and walk out and leave. If you're the host, like, what's wrong? What happened? Did I say something? The meal wasn't good? What? That's what happens here. It's like a slap in the face to you. Because you did all this work and tried to have a nice meal and everything. What happens when we leave early from Mass? Don't you think that's a slap in the face to someone? Someone who's given us life. Someone who blesses us. Someone who embraces and loves us. And we get up and walk out. We don't wait for that Christ to give us His blessing. We don't wait for that Christ to send us out into the world to preach His good news, to be the people that He's called us to. We have to think about these things and realize, because you know what's going to happen to you as well as myself. Some of us may dread this, but we're going to die. But after we die, we're going to stand before the Lord. He's going to say to you and me, all of us, what have you done with the life I gave you? How have you used the life and the graces that I have bestowed upon you every single day? What's our answer?